to two main points. You can also create a third point by giving basic information about what is being compared and what is being contrasted. Okay, so this is another way. Previously, this is the topical or categorical. So you put on each category. So life in the dorms, life in the classroom, and then life on campus. So you do it properly one by one. Yeah. But on the other hand, there's a comparison or contrast. Okay, so it means that you use the first point to compare towards the second point, and then the third point, you are describing on why you are comparing both. Okay, so for the first example, to inform a group of physicians about drug X, a newer drug with similar applications to drug Y. So it means that the drug X is almost identical to drug Y. Okay, so the main points, the first main point is to show how drug X and drug Y are similar, and then the second one would be how drug X and drug Y different. So what is the similarities, comparison, okay, and then you're contrasting. Okay, so what is the difference between the two? So you are using this as the organization, how you organize your main points, yeah. Or the second example, okay, so just the same. You can this if you are using just 2 points, yeah, but if using 3. Okay, so explain the basic purpose and use of both drug X and drug Y. So the first main point is for you to explain regarding on both item or both item in the topic. Okay, the one that you are comparing and also you are contrasting. Yeah, but before you do both, you actually have to explain on what is the basic purpose and what is the use of the both item, and then you the moving on the second point, and then you are comparing, and also the third point, which is why you are contrasting it. Okay, so you are showing both item is almost identical, and then both item is different. Okay, so this is the 3 main points that you can use in comparison and also contrasting. And then chronological. Okay, so chronological will follow the pattern 1 by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so the chronological speech pattern places the main idea in the time order in which items appear. Okay, so whether backward or forward. So so let's say the example is to inform the audience about the sequence of the Lord of the Rings. So most of you already know about the movie Lord of the Rings, right? So there are 3. Okay, so the Fellowship of the Ring, the Two Towers, and also the Return of the King. So if you are following the chronological order, so you examine the product content of the first one, and then the second one, and then the third one. Okay, so this is what we call as forward method. But if it's in backward, so it means that you start with the third one, okay, as the first, and then the second one, okay, and then the first one. Okay. So let's say that this is the chronological for the the Lord of the Ring, which is 1, 2, 3. So let's say that if you're doing it for Star Wars, okay, it started Star Wars. If you're doing it, you have to do it in backwards, whereby it started with 4, 5, 6, and then 1, 2, 3, and then 7, 8, 9. So it means that you have to start from 4, 5, 6, and then go back to 1, 2, 3. Okay, so that is what we call as moving backwards. Okay, so that is just an example. Okay, and then problem, cause, solution. Okay, so this you are presenting a problem, and then you're presenting a cause, and then you're presenting a solution. Okay, so you describe a problem, identify what you believe is causing the problem, and then recommend a solution to correct the problem. Okay, so this is the persuasive example, whereby the community to persuade the community to stay safe at home during the MCO to break the chain of COVID-19. Okay, so the main points, the first one, you describe the problem. Okay, so demonstrate that COVID-19 virus will easily spread out if no precaution steps are taken to reduce the outbreak, which is what we call as social distancing. Yeah, so you are describing the problem. Okay, so and then you identify what you believe is causing the problem. Show that without MCO, the pandemic may be difficult to contain. So you are showing what is the cause to the problem. So if there's no MCO, okay, the problem will be much more worse compared to if you don't have the cause. Okay, so the MCO is the cause, whether the effect is much more better or much more worse. Okay, and then you recommend a solution to correct the problem. Explain how instituting a mandatory MCO will reduce the outbreak. So this, you are explaining on why the effect is important. Okay, in order for sorry, the cause is important to manage the effect on the solution. Yeah, and then there is a psychological way. Okay, so how for you to organize using a psychological speech pattern okay, so in which A leads to B and B leads to C. So it is just this designed to follow a logical argument. Okay, so this format lends to itself to persuasive speeches very easily. Okay, so this is what we call as a chronological also, but it's not going forwards or backwards, but it is under a logical pattern, which is A must go to B, so B have to go to C. It cannot from B go to M. Okay, so there is an example, or B go to D or E. Okay, so it have to go to C. So this is what we call a psychologically logical pattern. Yeah. So so example is to persuade a group of nurses to use humor in healing the person. Yeah. So you are presenting the main points according to from A to B to C. So the A is how laughing affects the body. Yeah. So kalau gelak can uh, is it affecting it negatively or is it positively? Yeah? And then from A to B, how the bodily effects can help in healing. So if it's a positive effect, how can it help actually helps in healing? And then we are moving to C, which is strategies for using humor in healing. So you already confirmed that from A to B, that using humor, using laughing, so humor leads to laugh, so laugh leads to healing. So you already A to B to C. So you straight away on the third point you use okay, so you have to create strategies on how for us to use humor in healing, because we already leads from humor to laugh to healing, right? So A to B to C. Okay, so if so this is the example. Yeah, if a patient is exposed to humor A, then the patient's body actually physiologically responds in a ways that help healing. So A to B, okay, reduce stress, decrease blood pressure. So this is what we call as the effect. The cause is humor, and then the effect is the healing. Okay, because of these benefits, nurses should engage in humor use that helps with healing. So from A to B to C. So this is what we call a psychologically a logical pattern. Yeah. So that is the types of pattern organization that you can use. So in order for you, so we will be moving on how for you to select the correct one. Yeah. So not all patterns will work for all speeches. Okay, so it means that you cannot just use anyone for any speeches. So it means that each one is specifically being created for a certain type of speech that you wanted to use. Okay, so excuse me, sorry. Okay, so in order for you to select the example, as we mentioned earlier, the biographical pattern is useful when you're telling a story of someone's life. So someone's a particular comparison and contrast, problem, cause, solution, and psychological was suited for persuasive speaking. So if you're doing a persuasive comparison, contrast, and then problem, cause, solution, and psychological is more suited. Okay, so but to choose the best pattern for a particular speech is the most important thing for you to actually learn. Okay, so you might want to listen. So it is totally depending on you on which one that you wanted to use, but it is much more preferable for you to actually do some practice first, whereby you can